Welcome to another edition of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight. During this hour, we're bringing you highlights from some of our shows focused on all things sports in the DMV. Please be sure to give us a follow on all of our social platforms. First up on weekly DMV Sports, Candi Waller chats with pro golfer Kendall Jackson about leadership, community impact, and inspiring the next generation on and off the course. On Ravens Verdict, check out the sights, sounds, and press conferences from Week 3 of OTAs. Lastly, on Washington Commanders Update, tune into the highlights and insights from Week 3 of OTAs. Don't go anywhere, and as always, enjoy this week's episode of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight.
Hello again, Bowie television watchers. This is Candi Waller checking in, as I love to do, to give you all the latest and greatest information on what is happening in the DMV when it comes to sports. As you all see, I am not sitting here by myself, which I love it when I'm not alone, you guys. I am here with professional golfer and Howard alum, Kendall Jackson. Kendall,
Hello.
hi, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you having me on the show.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, before everybody starts to say, oh, she's got a Howard alum on her show. Yes, I do. It's HBCU Love All Day. Kendall knows I'm a Hamptonian. She knows. Okay.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but
All
it's
love ate you around for sure.
absolutely 100%. I'm very excited to have you on, Kendall. I tried to dip and dab in golf, but it's just not. I just can't catch on. It's a very, I try my best, but let's just get right into the topics of just when did you know you absolutely love the game of golf?
I would say for me, it definitely, but by the time I started, it definitely took a couple years after. I first started playing golf at the age of 6 years old. My dad was the one who introduced me through the first tee of Greater Houston. And for the first tee, it like introduces life skills through the game of golf. You have your coaches, you have your lessons. But I honestly did not like, I enjoyed the coaches, I enjoyed the classes, I enjoyed my friends, but golf as a 6 year old little girl was not it. There were so many other things I felt like I could have been doing with my time, but I want to say it was like a few years later, I did a long drive contest and hit it further than everybody. I was like, you know what? Well, let's see where this can go. And then from there, I'd done a lot of other sports. I'd done gymnastics, I did karate. Karate was actually the thing I did the most or the longest outside of golf. Basketball, swimming, jujitsu. Because as an only child, my parents were like, we're gonna put you into everything and see what sticks. But golf was always like the one constant. But I feel like as a kid, I didn't consider myself a golfer. Golfing was just what I did, and I did my very first golf tournament, my very first competitive tournament, St. Patrick's Day of 2015, and anything and everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And from there, my parents and I, especially because I was getting ready to go to high school in a few years, were like, okay, if we're gonna do this, let's retrace our steps, let's figure out how we do this. And for me, I honestly did not love it for myself until after my freshman year of high school when I became the very first person to qualify for the state championship, but especially as a black girl never belonging to a country club, that was a big deal. In Texas, I mean, Texas, Florida, California, some of the biggest and competitive
Mhm.
states, especially for golf. So qualifying for the 6A championship, the biggest and most competitive as a freshman, was like, oh, I feel like after that, I really showed the potential I not only have, but how far I could take it for sure.
So you've already said a lot that I'm like, okay, wait a minute, Kendall.
Yes.
You played how many different sports? I heard the gymnastics, jujitsu.
Yes. I think
You
in
did
chronological order, gymnastics, golf, karate, jujitsu, swimming, basketball. Yes.
Wow. So okay, and then golf. How does is there any kind of correlation you think to you being able to play all of those different sports to
Well, not
you?
all at the same time, just over the years. I will say
Oh,
karate, I think was the most um what's the word? Not influential, but I see a lot of what I did karate in my golfing now. One of how far I hit the ball because I'm not very tall. I'm barely 5'5" with shoes on. I'm not very tall. But I think all this training, I mean, I did it from 6 years old to 13 years old, January through December for 8 years straight. So all that discipline, a lot of that core focus. I feel like a lot of what I did in karate translates into golf so far as the discipline, so far as the work ethic. So far as having the patience and determination. Swimming, I did for exactly 1 summer because I enjoy swimming. I'm not built to swim. I am not Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky by any means, but I really did enjoy it. I would say karate definitely had the most influential into my golf, which I feel like I didn't realize until till later on.
So okay, that I had to ask because I'm like, wait, hold on.
It was a lot of sports.
All of those. That is super. That is really, really cool. Something else you said that I want to kind of dive a little bit more into is you mentioned the competitiveness of different states. Okay, you are from, so nobody missed this. She is we're gonna claim her because she went to Howard.
Yes,
She's ours,
yes,
yes. But first, you belong. You're in Texas. You are in
yes.
Texas.
Houston, Texas, Pearland,
Right?
Texas.
Yes. Shout out to Houston and Pearland. Everyone knows I have a brother in Pearland. So, so talk about that. Like growing up in Texas, still being in Texas, and having to compete at the highest level with all types of elite athletes in golf.
I would say the beauty, especially being in South Texas, competing all year round, and I think that was the biggest adjustment going to Howard. I had never had an off season before because I tournaments in high school, even in junior golf, I tournaments in high school would start around September, October, go through December, and then I would have tournaments in November and December. Then we would always start MLK Day weekend, which is January, and then go all the way through May. And I would have tournaments in the summer, and then just repeat the cycle. So having that real first winter off season at Howard was a huge adjustment. But I think practicing all year long and just playing inside of Texas, but then also once I started traveling, because I feel like the biggest thing with golf is you have to be able to adjust to different courses. And I was very used to obviously my Texas courses, my Southern courses. So then going up to DC and Howard and just the Northeast as a whole, and especially Houston. Houston is very flat. The DMV is not flat at all. So just adjusting to the elevation change, the different grasses, the different climate. And I think that was the biggest thing why I decided to go out of state because I knew for me, this is all I've ever known, but you don't know what's out there until you go. So I enjoyed my upbringing. I enjoyed my time. I mean, obviously I came back weather-wise, but just being able to say I experienced a different part of the country as well.
So let's go into Howard University and all that Howard has been to you in your overall growth in golf.
Yes, I would say definitely the best decision I could have possibly made. And I don't have enough time to explain the story of how Howard Golf even came to be, which if you want to see the full story, you should watch Why Not Us, Howard Golf on ESPN Plus and Hulu. It explains the whole story of how Steph Curry was a huge monumental figure of how Howard Golf even came to be. But being able to go not only to an HBCU and going out of state, but being a part of the inaugural women's team my freshman year, because obviously in high school you have this idea, oh, this is what college golf is going to be, this is what I think it's going to be like. But then being a part of a brand new program, like this was literally day one. Like there had been a club team, there had been people who had played, but having a Division 1 program, especially on the women's side, men's as well, but the first of its kind, and playing. And then two, Houston is very diverse. Pearland, not so much. My fifth and sixth grade year, I was the only Black individual in my class. So then going from predominantly white, pretty much kindergarten through high school to now being in the majority, and not even just majority, I have a Black coach, I have Black teammates, Black professors. It was a huge, I hate to say culture shock within your own culture, but and then playing golf as well, I'd never been a part of the majority. So being able to add that to Howard was just such a unique experience. And obviously having a chance to meet Steph, however you think he is that and so much more in person. It has been an absolute joy and pleasure to get to know him during my time at Howard. He has been like he truly has motivated me in so many ways, just how present he is, how humble he is, how down to earth, and how truly he is invested, not even obviously financially through the support he gave at Howard, but asking us individually, like, oh, how's it going? Like, what anything I can help? Hey, let me put you in this position that with this person. And I really try to model a lot of what I'm doing now as a professional golfer and as I grow my brand and my business after him because he truly is the epitome of a stellar athlete and just an overall human being.
That is amazing. Now plug the episode of the show you said again? Why Not Us? Plug that again
Yes.
for
Why
everybody
not
who
us,
goes to
Howard
watch.
Golf? It premiered my sophomore year. So it's funny now, everybody who's in that film has officially graduated, which is crazy to think about because I felt like it was just the other day. And now it's like, oh my, not only am I graduated, I'm a year post grad. But such an incredible opportunity because I can tell you all day long, oh yeah, this is how our workouts were, this is how practice was, but seeing it on film, and best believe it was not a highlight reel as well. I remember, which in one of the episodes, I hit it into the bunker and it took a couple of shots for me to get it out of the bunker. And after like the second time, I'm like, oh, the cameras, they're gonna look at somebody else. And I looked and they were still there filming my shot. But just shows you the ebbs and flows, the ins and outs of what it takes to succeed as an HBCU college golfer, and just all of our individual stories. Because we all obviously came to Howard, we all came to play golf, but we all come from different backgrounds, different places. So having that, and then two, the producer, shout out to Tristan Williams. She also produced Starting Five on Netflix, and she had never had any experience about golf. She really didn't know. She was obviously huge in storytelling, and she knew how to make a story, but for her and a lot of her crew to be able to learn golf as they were learning us, and now they all love golf to this day. A lot of them like have practiced a bunch. So it's really amazing how golf can truly bring so many people together, and just the story that's able to come out of it, especially having somebody who wanted to showcase and tell our stories as well.
So I'm just over here just budding with joy. Like, that's right. The HBCU students, they out here getting it. They're out here getting
Absolutely.
it. And so, Kendall, that leads me to ask you, what is Kendall Jackson doing now? Tell us about what you have going on now, your brand, and all the great things that you're doing in the community as well.
So yes, like I said, I officially graduated last year, magna cum laude,
Let's get it.
Howard
Wait, hold on.
2025.
Magna cum
Yes,
laude. That's right.
yes,
Let's be clear on that,
yes.
everybody.
On
Magna
time
cum
with
laude.
honors.
Not
Yes, ma'am. And then I was stayed amateur through the few months post grad, and then I just turned professional, be a year in September, turned professional in September, because I truly felt like once I got to Howard, I knew that my golf was not going to be stopping after I graduated, especially because there's only been 8 Black women to ever get their LPGA status, but nobody's ever won on the LPGA tour. So knowing, even though it's something that nobody's ever done before, there have been a lot of things I was able to do both in high school and Howard that I was able to be the first. So why not try to be the first professionally? And then on top of turning professional, I started my own brand, my KJ Ten Ink brand, which shout out to Steph because his brand is SC30. I'm like, oh, let's just go KJ10 because I was born on October 10th. So I really love the number 10. And not even that, just a brand. I know there's a lot of athletes who they wait until they've established into their career to, oh, let me start doing this, let me start doing this. But why not just build it at the same time? So between the brand and the logo, I'm also in the process of starting my Kendall Jackson Family and Friends Foundation, which awards a scholarship through my church. It's actually already started, but there's like a few things we're waiting on. But I was able to start that my sophomore year and able to receive 3 students at my church who are pursuing higher education at HBCU, because I know for me, every dollar counts, rather if it's money towards obviously tuition, money towards food, money towards just that little bit of extra support. Because at first my mom was like, "Oh, why don't we start a scholarship?" I'm like, "I'm still in school. Like I still need scholarships." But knowing it's never too late to give back, or never too early to start giving back. And so I was really glad to be able to start that, and kind of in association with that, great timing on the photo. I was literally the next thought. I was able to start my own clinic slash golf tournament called the Kendall Jackson Golf Experience, which started at the first tee, or which is hosted at the first tee of Greater Houston, which is where I got my start at. It was a free kids clinic through the first tee and this other organization. Shout out Miss Milana Dodge, the Journey Through 18 Girls in Houston, who are located at Herman Park. So being able to have something for the kids, because I know for me growing up, I did not have a lot of kids older than me, at least, that I was able to ask, oh, how's this? How's this? It was a lot of trial and error, guess and check with me and my parents. So for them to not only compete and practice with one another and talk with them, it's like any questions you have towards me. And at the same time, too, it was a 9-hole clinic as well. And shout out to any event planners. This was my first time. I've been a part of many clinics, especially through Howard. I've never hosted a clinic, I feel like I slept 12 hours after that event was over. I was absolutely exhausted, but just so fulfilling seeing everything come together. And we kind of, it was the way my dad had said, this was October. It was him and another gentleman. Oh yeah, shout out Buck of DMV Sports. He was the one who kind of planted the seed to my dad, Mr. Al Coros. He's like, oh, what if Kendall hosted a golf clinic? And you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, that'll happen in the future. And then
Mhm.
me and my mom left for vacation December, and we come back at the end of December, now going to January. And I'm on this email thread and I was like, what is this? He's like, oh, this is for your clinic happening in March. I was like, who said I was doing a clinic? And so the first two Zoom calls, I'm like, y'all, I don't know what's happening. My dad said I'm doing this, to now seeing it. It was so great. And now I'm glad we'll have a whole year to plan instead of just a couple months. But that's definitely something I'm hoping to continue annually for sure.
Yes, events are difficult, but it sounds like you have an amazing team and your parents as well. You've mentioned now
Yes.
both your mom and your dad. So
Yes.
can
Shout out
you,
Morris and Nina Jackson, the goats
that
for real.
the goats for real? Let's talk about them. How have they just been an active support to your golf journey?
I'll start with my dad first, since he was the one who introduced me to golf. He actually played college football. He's originally from Kansas City, Missouri. Shout out my KC fam. And he came to school, or came to Texas at Prairie View, finished at Texas Southern, and played football. So he knew the benefits of playing a team sport. And I mean, I played in 45 collegiate events, and my parents were able to attend, I want to say either 41 or 42 of my events, which is funny. My teammates thought my parents didn't work because they were always there. My parents work. Like they come in, they go for the tournament, and then they have to get up, get in at midnight and go get up early the next day for work. But seeing the support that they have both had towards my journey has been so monumental. And my mom, she was able, I would say growing up junior golf wise, she wasn't able to come to as many tournaments because she worked more during the day. She works at the physician's office with Texas Oncology, actually, versus my dad. He was a little bit more flexible, so he was able to come to more tournaments. So seeing them both be able to support me at my time at Howard. It's funny, people always ask like, "Oh, did you miss your parents?" I'm like, "Not really. I saw them every month, every couple of weeks for tournaments." So it's always great knowing I have their support. And then even now, post grad, being obviously coming back home, they didn't kick me out just yet. And then my dad actually was able to do early retirement last year, so he could help me with this golf journey. Because I think that's probably the biggest thing I'm realizing, how much of a, you hate to say financial burden, but you don't realize how much your university pays for it until you start paying for it. Because the world keeps telling me I'm an adult, I'm grown now. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, no, I just graduated. I'm still a kid, but the world keeps saying otherwise. So between just like businesses and learning taxes and tracking my expenses, like all the things that come with adulting, I'm really glad to still have their support for sure.
Keep it as long as you can. Take it from
I'm
me.
trying.
Fulfill it, please. Like,
Yes.
trust me. Yes, you are an adult, but hey, listen, great parents,
And my number is still round down. 23 still rounds down. 24 is like, oh, we starting
round
to get
it
up
down,
there.
round it down.
Yes.
Trust me on that one. So you mentioned this a moment ago, and let's talk through this before we close out about earning a spot on the LPGA tour. Talk a bit more about what that even means for people who may not know, and just what it means to you to earn that spot.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize when it comes to professional golf, it's not like football or basketball. There's no draft, there's no team to get to. You have to build and assemble your own team, rather if it's your coach, your trainer, your mental person, like all the things that it takes for you to succeed. Kind of similar to, I guess, tennis, how those players assemble their team and make their way to events. But the tour I'm currently playing on is the Women's All Pro Tour, because it goes like LPGA. Epson Tour and Women's All Pro Tour. So the equivalent of like being in the minor league is the best analogy to put it. But just trying to play as well as I can on that tour, which started in April. It goes all the way through August. The championship is in September. And then the actual process and stage to get on the tour is called LPGA Qualifying School, which is broken up into three different stages: September, October, December. And you have to play so well, make the cut, make the next one. And then in the final stage, you have to not only play well, make the cut, you have to be in the top 25 to earn your card. As in, if you make the cut and you're 30, 26, 39, You have to wait all over until the next year because unless in college you were like Tiger Woods, Rose Zhang winning everything coming out of
Mhm.
college, most people don't go directly from college golf to professionally. It's everybody's journey looks different, but you basically play on a mini tour, try to build your status up, so to speak, get ready for Q school at the end of the year, and then just do as well as you can those three stages to hopefully get your LPGA card. At least for me, it'd be for 2027. And if not, you either have like partial Epson Tour status, which is again the one right below the LPGA, or I would kind of be doing the same thing next year as I'm doing right now, playing the mini tour. But
So
oh, to answer your last question, it would mean the absolute world. I mean, I know for me playing golf, golf is what I've been doing, I'd say my entire life, but for as long as I've known. So to be able to play it in high school, in college, and now professionally and have a chance to make to the LPGA just goes to show just having the right support and people around you makes the world a difference. And knowing that even though there's been very few people to accomplish what I'm trying to do, it's not impossible. And don't be afraid to be the first.
And before we close out, what would you like to share with other aspiring golfers, even myself, right? About
Yeah.
what it takes physically and mentally to be a great golfer.
I would say definitely a lot of patience for sure. Golf is one of those things that you will not get it the first or the 20th or the 50th time, but just having that patience and that diligence to go and practice every day. Honestly, finding a golfing community or group, because especially as the Black female, I had the fortunate to grow up playing golf with a lot of Black females or Black ladies who don't. I played as a kid. It's like, oh, there's nobody I can play with, or it can sometimes be intimidating. So finding a group of ladies that you can play with and then at the end of the day, stretching, to be honest, a lot of people think, oh, golf is not very strenuous, especially as someone who has flat feet. There's some certain things I have to do and work on each and every day to get better. So making sure you're stretching properly. Again, it's not football, you're not getting tackled, you're not running up and down a court, but the little things you don't realize that are putting strain on your body. So making sure you're stretching. And
your rookie season to now?
I say from the beginning, our play style is kind of like aligned because he's a mobile quarterback. He can really do everything. So I like to run around. I like to get open. So it kind of matches the game. I run around, he run around, get open. So it kind of always aligned from the beginning.
How much do you feel like you two are gaining by being out here volunteering for practice?
I mean, it's a new system, so it's always a win. Always coming out here, learning the new plays that Coach Deck giving us. So it's like the more we do it and the more we get in tune with each other, the more plays we're gonna be able to make, and that go for everybody.
It's early, but how would you describe Declan's offense and how quickly you guys are learning it and how difficult it is to learn?
It's explosive, like he said, like it's explosive. It's gonna be fun, and he's throwing a lot of stuff. But that's how we gonna learn it, and I feel like that's the best way for us to learn it, to get out there and do it, and let them just throw it at us, and we go out there and put it on the field.
Do you feel like you already have a pretty good grip on what it's going to look like when you get to game time, or is it still early to say that?
No, I got a pretty good grip on what it's going to look like. It's just really ironing out the details and really learning everything. It's like learning a new language.
So what have you thought of Jacoby and Elijah so far? And kind of on the surface, they look very similar. What are the differences you've noticed?
Jacoby got that. He got that Jack. Well, I call him Jack. Y'all call him Jacoby. He got that dog mentality. Like he want to play. He want to go get the ball. He want to do everything. He want to learn. And same thing as E. He want to learn. He want to play. They came in ready to do their job. So it's great to see. And I'm gonna lead them by example. And we all gonna go. That's it's kind of weird because I'm like the oldest one in there, and I ain't that old though. But yeah, it's just teaching me how to lead. It's just teaching me how to lead guys that's younger than me, and take what the vets gave me from my years before and give it to them.
I know it's only OTAs, but just what's your impression of how practices or just the energy here feels different with Jesse?
Yeah, it's exciting, bro. Everybody here. Everybody want to come out and put. They got a new opportunity, so everybody want to come out and put good stuff on film and get ready for camp.
Are Sour Patch Kids the way to your heart?
Yeah, you bring me Sour Patch Kids, you can have whatever. You good.
You just did that with a fan, right? Can you tell me about that kid they brought him up to you?
Yeah, he brought me some Sour Patch Kids and wrote me a little letter on the back. His name was Zay too, and yeah, I just gave him my cleats. They were my good luck cleats too, so I'm like, you can have them.
Zay, you're speaking about the fans. Today's practice was a little bit different with them. You were at opening day for the Orioles. You were part of the schedule. Wedding Crashers video, interacting with fans. Can you kind of sense the excitement from the fans of it being kind of a new chapter for the team and the franchise? Yeah,
I think the fans just as excited as us. So anytime I get out in the community and do stuff, I'm gonna always take the opportunity, whether for kids or events. It don't matter what it is. But the fans, every time somebody see me, they like, yo, how the head coach, how the offensive coordinator, and it's nothing but good things, and everybody excited, like the whole city excited.
Is there a defining trait of Declan that you notice real quick from being around him? Something that kind of stands out?
He got the same mentality as us. Like, he ain't playing, but he a dog though. He like, you can just get that vibe from him. He's just he ready to go. He ready to dial it up. He want the offense to be the best offense in the league, and that's how he coach it.
Zay, we've heard Jesse Mender talk about being at your best when your best is needed. You guys have the drill that you've done at the end of practice. Is that something that you felt like you guys needed to kind of make a focal point going into this season?
I mean, right now it's just something to do competitive. You always got to have something competitive going on, and I feel like Coach, he do it in a good way. We can't really like do one-on-ones and do competitive drills right now, so he brought it out in a different way, and you can see all the competitors that come out to compete.
Zay, what was your reaction, with the team exercising your option, and are you hopeful to be here a long time in the next session?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited, man. I'm on the field. I'm with my teammates. I'm learning my coaches and learning the new playbook. So I've been excited to be here. It's been good for me.
Sort of a side question, but Odell signed with the Giants yesterday.
Yeah, that's fire.
Game for a little bit. Are you excited to see an old teammate of yours back in football?
Yeah, but he been working. He been on the field. I keep in contact with him here and there, and he been on the field. We got the same trainers, so I'm excited to see him back in Big Blue and see what he ready to do.
Are you happy that Myles Garrett's out of the AFC?
Yeah, everybody is. I think everybody in Baltimore should be happy.
During the draft, Eric Costa did mention that he expects to get a contract extension done with you. When you hear that from the guy that's in charge of making those decisions, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it's a great feeling because I want to be here. I love to finish my career here and just be here the rest of my career. So that's exciting, but you know, I let my representation deal with that. So really leave it up to them.
Zay, what do you think is the next evolution in your game? What is kind of the next thing you're trying to feature going into this year?
Everything. Show them I could do everything. Open up every aspect of my game and just put it on the field.
Is there anything Coach Kohler has kind of emphasized in the early going with you, new wide receivers coach?
Yeah, he a great coach. He teach the playbook well. He makes sure we all excited. He do the drills with us. Right now he down right now. He pulled a hammy, but he do the drills with us. He just have everybody checked in, everybody ready to go. It's like everybody excited. All the coaches, P, he's the assistant receiver coach, and he just make us lock in easier. It's like it's fun to have him out there with us.
I know Declan mentioned that he's throwing a lot at you guys in terms of installs, playbook, all that kind of stuff. I know you guys are all dogs and you all want to win these one-on-ones against the defense, but is there kind of an understanding that maybe in mandatory minicamp, maybe early in training camp, there will be some kind of rough patches for the offense as you get up to speed?
Yeah, everybody knows you're going to have – the only way to learn the plays is messing up a few times and then going back and then doing it the correct way. So we not too uptight about messing up the play here and there, but we'll love to get it right. So if you're a competitor, you're gonna hate getting it wrong.
So we heard Anthony Weaver call Declan Doyle a human computer. Said he's got like a –
Oh, he's a genius.
Like, what's been your experience working with Declan and sensing that?
I don't know. He got stuff that I've never seen, and like plays and routes and like stuff to help you get open. And he teach you in a certain way where you remember the plays where it's not too much stress on you, but he give you a lot. And he talk fast too, so it's like I'm like, hey coach, chill. But he a genius though. I love it. We've been loving it so far.
Is it interesting to see him be so 29 years old? I mean, it's so rare to have a coordinator that young. As a young guy yourself, do you easier to relate to him?
Yeah, it's easier to relate to him because we could just talk. We could talk like we friends. And what he expect of me and what he expect of us. So it's easier to communicate in that way instead of having somebody just demanding something. He gonna let you know what he expect of you.
Did he give you any crap for you calling him Declan early on?
Yeah, he put the whole thing up into me, and he was like, "Don't do this. Don't ever do this." And I wasn't even there. It was like as soon as I walked in late, everybody was like, "Yo, he had you on the big board." I'm like, "What happened?" He was like, "You called him Declan. It's Declan." So I had to make sure this time I get it right, Coach Deck.
All right, we'll end it with that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
That's it for today. Appreciate you all. Congrats.
Declan, how would you describe, we've been talking to Zay in a little bit, how would you describe that relationship Zay has with Lamar?
I would think that I would say that those two guys have played a lot of ball together. There's a strong chemistry between the two of them. They like being around each other. Zay is in the offseason, they're both down there in Florida together, and a lot of times Zay's like, I'm driving up to El's house at 5 a.m. and I'm honking the horn, and, I'm like, hey, get in the car and we're going to go work out and all that stuff. So they have a really strong bond. I think that you see that on the field at times. But, I think that the more time they spend around each other, they continue to get better. In a football standpoint, it helps, obviously, having the chemistry off the field.
Declan, you brought up, it takes time to build relationships with respect to Lamar and so forth. How's it been going these couple of weeks, these few weeks, and what kind of progress do you guys think you've made with them?
Yeah, I think it's great. Everything is a process. I mean, we're giving these guys a lot intentionally and really trying to see what they can handle. It's something that, I picked up, in my time at previous spots where it's really important during the spring. We could kind of take it easy and not stress these guys, and it would be a lot simpler. And yet I think growth happens on the other side of stress. And so we need to stress them. We need to figure out what they can handle because you're trying to figure out, how can you be the most difficult to defend. And so we're trying to give them quite a bit. I think that the communication aspect with Lamar has been great. It's been great working with him and and getting to know kind of how he thinks and how he sees the game. It's a relationship that like is constantly evolving. Even today we're out on the field, like there are plays that we're experiencing together for the first time. He may have run it somewhere else, I may have run it somewhere else, but as it plays out, it's really important. The biggest thing is like we don't waste any of these reps from a correction standpoint. Like we come back off, we're able to watch the tape and we're able to make these corrections, because that's where all the growth happens on the other side of that. We're able to go in the film room and I'm able to say, this is what your footwork is, this is your eyes, this is what I see, and then he can counter that and say, okay, this is how I see the receiver, or this is the body demeanor I see from the defender. And so that's just a constantly evolving relationship. It's really that way with Elle. It's that way with all of our players. It's that way with all of our coaches.
You seem to have some cadence drills going on at the beginning between calisthenics that are going on. Can you talk a little bit about them and how much you value cadence as far as importance in running an offense that keeps the defense on the field?
Yeah, I think it's just another way that we talk about all the time, like trying to stress the defense. And that can be, personnels you play out of, formations you play out of. Cadence is another element that I think a lot of times gets overlooked and not worked enough, because a lot of times guys in college, they're coming from these faster systems where they're not utilizing cadence as much. For us, it's really important that it's a weapon that we can use. And it's the one thing that we know as an offense that the defense doesn't know. And so we need to make it an advantage for ourselves. And part of that, too, is like, we have to stress our guys. We have to work on different cadences. We got to do things in practice. You're going to toe that line. At times, you're going to see pre-snap fouls, and really by the time we get to the season, that needs to disappear. That's unacceptable on any snap. If we have a pre-snap foul, we're putting ourselves in a position that's a very controllable stat. And so we want to see that improve. We've seen that improve as we've gone, just the pre-snap operation. I think that's been a huge emphasis, not only for myself, but like as Jesse talks to the team and can talk to the offense, he can piggyback on that. The pre-snap operation on both sides of the ball, that being really like paramount that we can master that.
With Finger, I know offensive linemen, OTAs, there's a limit what they can do, but is there anything that has maybe stood out to you in watching him?
He is athletically, he's as impressive as I would have expected watching his tape. There's nothing that I'm seeing that I didn't see on his tape. You almost don't notice him. He's in there, and he's a rookie, but he feels like he feels like a veteran from his communication, from his relationship with the guys around him. You can see the athleticism on really a number of the schemes that we're running, as well as in the protection game. He's only going to get better. He's a guy that like is very quiet, but he's hungry to get better. He's good in the room. I know Led and Flats are doing a great job with him and kind of bringing him along. But I've been really pleased with him thus far.
We haven't seen Rashad Bateman out there. Have you had an opportunity to work with him this offseason, and what kind of progress have you seen in your opportunity?
Yeah, Bate's been around. He's dealing with some personal things, and so he hasn't been here for a little bit. He was here that first week. We were able to work with him quite a bit, and then he was here pretty much the whole offseason, every day. He's an early morning guy, so a lot of times like I'd be going to work out, and he's in there doing stuff by himself at times. And so I've been pleased with him. Obviously anytime like guys are here, we're working with the guys that are here, and the guys that aren't, we're expecting them to be working kind of on their own. But I'm excited for him to get back in here in training camp and keep rolling.
Just from watching it from afar to you get this job and you're starting to put stuff together, cut-ups and on tape. Has there been anything that has surprised you, I guess, from now getting to work directly with him that maybe you weren't expecting before?
I don't know if I didn't expect it, but he is like the twitchiest athlete that I've ever seen on the field. Just with your own like two eyes. I mean, I've been around a few quarterbacks that are really good players, but the ball just like jumps out of his hands when you're watching him. It's really impressive when you're standing back there behind him. And I know that obviously like at times people will talk about him, the passer. He's a very arm-talented thrower. And that's something that you don't really, like you get some appreciation for it to be able to watch it on tape, but anytime you get to see a guy throw live, that's really where it pops to you. And so I would say that is the biggest thing that I've been not pleasantly surprised. I kind of expected it, but that's right on par with, just about anybody in the world.
With Lamar, I mean, he obviously said, he didn't have the season he wanted, and didn't make the playoffs. In being around him, do you get a sense that he feels like he has anything to prove, or is it you did not feel it?
No, I feel like I feel like a guy that wants to get better, that wants to improve, that's wide open to communication, that's wide open to coaching. I haven't been around a lot of guys in the NFL that haven't been open to their coaches or open to the communication. But certainly, I think that last year didn't go quite how he saw it. I think he is a hungry guy. When he's in here, you can feel him working. You can feel him, with his teammates, with his coaches. He's attentive, and I enjoy being around him in the meeting room. He's a guy that obviously he's played a lot of football, and so he has some extra knowledge for those guys that are in that room as well, to be able to provide a little bit of a leadership aspect. So. I think he's hungry. I think he's ready to go. But it is a process. We've got to keep working through this thing and ironing out the details.
Declan, your tight end usage in Chicago was pretty heavy and diverse, extremely productive. How would you kind of describe the room that you've inherited here, led by Mark? And I guess how would you quantify the importance of the position?
I think the position's important. Obviously, it allows you to. That's a big thing, obviously, with tight ends, especially in the league right now. You watch what's going on in LA and some of these other places. Teams are playing a little bit heavier. A lot of times you can, that really is about dictating, what the defense can do. I would say our room itself, obviously I've been really impressed with Mark. He's probably our, if he's not our hardest worker on offense, he's one of the hardest workers on offense. You can see him all the time in special teams and things like that, kind of honing in on his craft. He's really bought into, trying to develop in the run game and continuing. He's a guy he's been in the league for quite some time, and he's still looking to refine his game. And so that's something that you appreciate. Obviously, I was with Durham in Chicago, and so he's a great addition. He does things, exactly the way that you coach him. He's a guy that when you're pausing the tape, he's an example for young guys in the room. And then, obviously those two young guys that we took in the draft, they're different players, different style of tight ends, but really impressed with Hibner, really impressed with Josh. Those guys are working at it. They're both very smart. Rarely do they make the same mistake twice. And, I've been really happily, not surprised, but I'm really happy with their progress thus far. That room itself, Coach Grossi's doing a great job of getting those guys ready to go for practice every day, and they're just continuing to check the boxes as we go.
a lot to get into. So make sure if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're hitting like, make sure you are subscribed, and we're going to go ahead and get right on into it, you all. Listen, you may have heard me say previously that it's feeling like a training camp practice in June. You may have already heard me say that. And today did not disappoint in that at all. I definitely have always felt the energy, but certainly felt that intensity today during practice. Lots of great takeaways. So we're going to get into that, share some clips from the press conferences. Make sure you all have your notebooks, have your pens, because we're absolutely going to be using our clues, because that you got to do that. And just really go through some of the overall highlights of the day. And that first clip you saw, and as I've mentioned on my page, with the quarterbacks having the GoPros on their helmet, some of it could be, for internal purposes in their own internal tracking. But I also saw a couple other players with GoPros on their helmets as well. So this is becoming a thing for certain. But what is also a thing, I'm going to go ahead and say it because I feel like it's important for me to repeat this early, that we are going to be using our clues on this one. I mean, aren't we always? When you're tuning into Bowie TV, when you're turning into the Washington Commanders update, you're going to be using your clues. So we may as well jump right into something that I know has been a hot topic, right? Within the Washington Commanders defensive coordinator Durante Jones spoke to the media today. A question came up about Sonny Styles wearing the green dot. Let's go ahead and listen to his response to this question.
Sonny with the green dot on his helmet. How much of a learning curve is that for him or any rookie with that responsibility?
Not so much as it used to be in the past. For us, pretty much all the linebackers have the green dots because of communication at practice. But nowadays, they have that ability to have the green dot in college. You're going to see more and more college athletes coming to this level with comfort level of hearing a call, hearing the communication, and then echoing and getting that out to their teammates. And so because of where he's come from and his experience, it's been smooth as it can be for that.
So go ahead and use your clues, mark it down. We've already had this discussion. You all have heard me on various shows. I talked about Mike linebacker. I've talked about green dot. I've also talked about just because you're the Mike linebacker doesn't mean you wear the green dot. Has that happened? Was that the case here in Washington? Yes. But there were also in previous times before this regime that a safety has worn the green dot. Right. Even Coach Quinn had mentioned that to us at the owners meeting, that he's done it with the safety as well, wearing the green dot. So use your clues there, but also the note of Coach Jones sharing all of the linebackers at practice are wearing it for communication at practice. Of course, he reiterated because of the question about the comfortability of a rookie player coming out of college with that responsibility. And he was clarifying, right, that this is a thing. You'll see more and more of this, right, as players come in from the collegiate space to the pro level. But he made a point to say, well, all of the linebackers are wearing the green dot. So you've also heard me say there was a point in time, I think it was rookie camp, so we're using our clues the whole way, where Coach Quinn said they have a few candidates at that role. So yes, all of them are wearing a green dot. We know what the assumption would be in terms of who ultimately wears that green dot. But right now, all of the linebackers are wearing it. Coach Quinn said that there's a few candidates at that role. I can tell you based on what I've observed at the OTA practices, especially these last two practices, there are a few candidates for the role. There are. So hold that. Use your clues. We're going to keep moving on. Speaking of Coach Dan Quinn, we're going to keep moving on to his presser and some of the comments that he shared in responses to the questions he had earlier today.
Communication, the details, I've been pleased with that. This time of year is more geared and leans more towards the passing game on both sides, but see the intent, the skill work that goes into it. I've certainly been pleased with that. And now you put guys into different spots, see how they respond, and we're off to a good start. So I'm looking forward to seeing this week some more just guys elevating our skills and our game, all of that leading into the next week.
More disguises, more of putting guys in different spots. This now becomes a recurring theme. Use your clues on that one. Okay, so they're moving along, business as usual, according to plan. Now, the next clip I'm going to share is something else that I've been talking about. Now it's about the leadership piece of this. You've heard me say on this show, you've heard me say on other shows where I've been a guest, where I've talked about who will take the place of a Bobby Wagner, leadership-wise. Who? Because this is a thing, you all. It's a thing. And it finally came up today. I said, okay. Others realized that this is a thing, right? Even a Zach Ertz from the, a leadership perspective, discipline, all the things that they brought as players and as veterans who have played at the highest level consistently in their careers. This is a thing. Maybe even more so a thing than just like the green dot. So these conversations came up today because here's the thing. At this point in time, we can check the younger, faster box, 100%. What we cannot check right now is physicality, true physicality. Well, obviously, we can't test that because you can't tackle. Cannot tackle. So you're not going to get into that until joint practice. You really can't even tackle there, but really until preseason games, right? So physicality and leadership instinct, yes, but also with that becomes that overall intelligence. Are you smart? And that's a real thing. Use your clues. Younger, faster, physicality, TBD, intelligence, smart, overall speed of picking up on concepts, things, using your own clues while you're out there, TBD. But the question of leadership came up a bit today. So here's another clip.
Such a, vocal figure, he had a stranglehold on that defense. Who are you leaning on this year? Like who do you want to assert themselves to maybe be that leader of the defense?
Yeah, I think at the three different locations, what does that look like and who are they? And as this team chemistry, continues to grow, the voice I'm hearing certainly is Frankie is one. I'm certainly feeling all of Mikey's intent. He's been one of the hardest workers we've had through this offseason. And I can imagine many a days here seeing he and JK here early in the mornings going through their process. So those are just a few that I feel like have elevated leading work, all of it, just to take it to a new space. But it's not something that you just hand out. It is something that needs to be, garnered more over time. We knew there was certainly going to be a void with Wags, like, no shit, DQ, right? But that part, like, he's one of the most incredible leaders, I've been around. But also, it now allows some space to see what could take place, what could happen, who could elevate. And so I like being aware of that, watching and seeing. The rookies aren't there yet. That's not their space. They haven't gone into that. That would take some more time, even as good as Jaden started it. It's more, is he going to be good mini camp? Okay, let's wait for training camp, and then you go into that spot. So there's been a number of steps up so far, but I would say it's not one singular voice today.
Use your clues. Let's get it. We've used our clues a lot already in this episode, now haven't we? Okay. First things first that stuck out to me was it's not something you just give out. And it's not, right? Not something you just give out. Also, mentioning the rookies aren't there today. Like, they're not there today. So it's like everybody, you're naming a rookie, not now. It's something watching. Frankie's name came up. Well, He's the person who was closest to Bobby Wagner, you know, in just proximity and how they work together. So you see Frankie taking that role. He mentioned Mikey Sainristil. He mentioned JK. That's Javon Kinlaw. I said, oh, right. He's talking about getting there early. Some of those other things. It's so much. And as always, in Dan Quinn fashion and being who he is as a head coach and as just a human, he's going to continue to acknowledge that Bobby Wagner is an incredible leader. And there is a void without him. I'm glad he said it. I'm like, okay, this is what I've been saying. 100% a void. So let's continue to use our clues, because that leadership thing is a thing, because they said it's something that they're watching. I brought this up previously because I was making the point that when they turned over the roster in 2024, this current regime, you had people coming in the door. You knew these are leaders. You knew. You know, one of the main people who came up a lot today isn't there. Planned or unplanned, not there. So who will emerge? Not something you just give away. It's something that has to be garnered, right? Rookies not today, right? So this is something to watch. You all know I keep going back to the captains of the postseason, and now here we are, because somebody, I was like, well, maybe I've been mentioning it on the show, but once it comes public,